Hello guys, it's me, Ethan, and a while back I found out about the new domains in Roblox Grace when they first released. I did not really play them, but I later ended up regaining my interest. So, if you guys don't know, domains are basically extra levels with unique playstyles. There are currently 3 domains in the game, though one that appealed to me the most was Sinrow, or as it's commonly called, Litany's domain. I mainly got interested in it after listening to the domain's theme, Off With Your Head, and I was sold. So anyways, there are multiple ways to get to the domains. A method I tried at first was going through the main campaign and getting to the 4th safe room, where I am able to select the domains. After entering Litany's domain, I began my first attempt, but before I begin, how does Litany's domain exactly work? How do you beat it? Well, actually, it's pretty simple. No, it's not. Really, it's. A Sinrow takes place on a long, concrete stretch surrounded by water, and when you enter, a shackle is attached to your head, basically a saw trap. And this shackle represents your lives. Each time you make a mistake, you lose a life, and holy crap, there's actual blood. Yes, there's blood in this game. Honestly, uh, Grace is really not for kids, though. On a more unrelated note, there's like tons of blood in the game and tons of other um, references to adult stuff. Anyways, so you lose 5 lives and you lose your head. Now, what you have to do is make it past the obstacles and open the gates by collecting the shiny orbs. But don't stop moving because there is a headless army composed of headless artfuls. I meant, I mean Guilles or Guiles, Guilles. I don't know how you pronounce these guys' names, but basically these I'll just call them Gullies. These chasing after you. If they catch you, it's instant death. Then there are the lasers. Getting struck by one means losing 1 life, and the lasers, honestly, to me, are the most annoying obstacle, because they're usually the main reason you lose lives. Oh, another obstacle some people don't really notice is the Mega Litany watching over you. You see, every time it opens its eyes, you're at its whims. However, God himself will tell you what to do in these situations. If he tells you to jump, jump. If he tells you to don't jump, if he tells you to don't jump, what? Then don't jump. Finally, the biggest threat emerges. Once you open the 7th gate, you initiate the beat drop and the 2nd phase. Here, Litany will begin occasionally appearing on your screen. You will have to slide whenever it does so, because if it opens its eyes while you're not sliding, what makes it so dangerous is that the longer you slide, the more you slow down. This makes you more vulnerable to lasers, which is why Litany and lasers are such a deadly duo. You know, it makes slide friction increase, which is pretty annoying, honestly. It makes it harder to jump and harder to move. This is why you see a laser charging up, so do your best to move out of its way if you feel that you won't make across it. Finally, when you reach the 25th gate, you will initiate the 3rd phase, which, don't worry, is actually pretty short. All the concrete obstacles are now removed, but now Litany will grow desperate and try to throw everything it can at you. The lasers will speed up, and so will the gullies. Now, the best thing you can hope for is that you haven't wasted too many of your lives before the 3rd phase. That will give you an easier chance of survival. Most importantly, don't stop moving. Finally, you'll reach the end, where the gullies will be crushed. Only then have you beat peer pressure. Also, by the way, did I specify that Litany's domain is based on classism and peer pressure? Yes, all the things in Grace basically have like a more deeper meaning, including these little guys, the goobers, which we'll get to later. But anyways, onto my attempts. The first time I thought collecting orbs was optional, so when I skipped one, I got stuck in the gate and the next attempt, I reached the 2nd phase and was instantly killed by Litany because I was unsure what to do. And then I just kept dying over and over and over again. Then though, I discovered a quicker way to access the domains, that being a game mode called WoEd. It can be accessed on the left of the lobby. You see, what makes WoEd so good, it's not just its quick accessibility, but also the fact that you can actually get buffs from these little guys, goobers. Like I said, like I mentioned them earlier in the video, you can only select 3 goobers max. Each of these will give you different buffs. Now, one of the goobers I suggest you don't pick is Michael. You see, Michael seems promising at first because the buff he gives you is overpowered. Basically, Michael will give you a wing burst buff, which whenever you are sliding, you can launch yourself into the air to go way faster. Unfortunately, unless you are a parkour pro, you can easily get yourself into trouble. For example, it can cause you to fall into the water, costing you life. So the lesson from this is to just be patient when doing Litany's domain. Another thing that makes Michael an unreliable goober is the fact that he'll start out a channel way later than you and then proceed to gain more subscribers to get to way more subscribers than you and become way more famous just because he made one famous short. One famous short which took videos from other channels, including mine! For free goobers, I suggest you pick a speeder who will reduce your slide friction, which, like I said, slide friction is a really huge problem. So with decreased slide friction, it's a really good buff. Now, this is useful whenever Litany appears on your screen, so you won't slow down as much. Another goober is Luke, who will increase your move speed, and John, who will give you a higher jump height so you can jump over obstacles, and even jump over the water after you have collected the orb. Now, whenever I would lose a life near the beginning, I would just run back and let the gullies take me, because I knew I would have a smaller chance of survival anyways. Sometimes I even count the amount of gates I've opened in my recordings to see how far I've gotten. Finally though, I got lucky and avoided losing any lives until the 3rd phase. I have lost 4 lives there, but was able to reach the end, beating my first domain and beating peer pressure. Now I will show you the gameplay itself. Make sure to take something from this video and enjoy.